Hey everyone, it's Kenlin, and this is your update for April 29th through May 5th in consciousness astrology and how do divine feminine women apply this astrology to our lives as we show up to be evolutionary leaders in this changing of an age, in this new earth. So the big news for this week is that there are 2 planets changing signs and 1 going retrograde. Let's talk first about how we got here. I think we deserve a little pat on the back right now. We deserve to say we made it. We went through some very intense Aries energy in the first 28 days of April. We had stelliums in Aries. We had an eclipse in Aries. We had all the planets just hanging out together, amplifying Aries. And then we had the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus, all close to Aries. We had Mars in Pisces. So it was just a super big month, highly transformative. And I'd love to hear what has been transforming in your world. Oh, we also had that super incredibly powerful full moon in Scorpio. I think it was a butt kicker. And it probably hit you in a variety of ways, but inside of the Evolving Sisters Network, Sisterhood Activation, so many people were just feeling the feels and in breakdown. And breakdown is okay because breakdown is what comes before breakthrough. And we've been in a very big time of shedding. And we're still in that, we're not going anywhere out of the shedding. Because if you think about it, 6,000 years of patriarchal structure that has literally kept ideas out of our matrix and focused us in a certain way to extract from the earth and produce and be slaves and not think for ourselves and give our energy away, that is all shifting. And that's why the divine feminine is waking up. That's why she is coming on the scene, because we are ready for an incredible pivot, a shift, where we're not talking about a matriarchy replacing a patriarchy. We're talking about an integration of masculine and feminine inside of ourselves and in the world. It's a co-leading. So that's what's happening in the big, big, big picture. And that's why you're here listening to this channel. And if you're the masculine listening, welcome, because we have both energies inside of us. So this week, we're really consolidating and integrating from everything that happened in the prior 4 weeks. It was huge. And some of it we don't even know. Mercury is direct now. And it's touching in with Chiron. So there are wounds that are getting healed, and they're getting healed quantum. They're getting healed fast because we're seeing with new eyes. It's like scales have been dropped from our eyes and we're seeing with new eyes. So that's how the healing is coming. You know, the Course in Miracles says the only thing that really needs to be healed is your perception. So once we have a shift in perception, then the power that the wound had over us goes away. The power goes away. It's not saying that it didn't happen. It's the power that we've given it goes away. That's the healing. And Mercury is bringing you that healing. Thank you, Chiron. I mean, we had some Chiron conjunctions in there too, right? The North Node. There was so much that happened in Aries. And Aries, being that I am, the bold statement of I'm here. So I love what Michael Lennox, my astrologer, says about Pisces to Aries. It's the birth canal from that spirit, that oneness consciousness, the primordial nature, that unconscious nature of that all of us are a part, that we all are. We're not individuated in the Piscean state. We are one. And then we go through the birth canal and we incarnate as an individual, as separate. And that's the Aries energy. It's like I am here. And it's bold and it's courageous and it has shadow to it as well. So that fire energy is the cauldron that we've been in the last 4 weeks. And now we take this step further and we move into Taurus energy. And the Taurus energy starts to feel the earth around it. You know, think about the bull in the grass, eating the grass, just chewing away. That serene picture, because the bull is slow, the bull is methodical. It's now integrating that fire I amness into its place in the world. So I love that because guess what? One of the changes that's happening this week is that Venus, the planet of love, materiality, abundance, is moving into Taurus from Aries. This is her native place. She loves being in Taurus. She's the ruler of Taurus and Libra. So she feels very much at home here. She's very welcome here. Her sensuality is reflected in the Northern Hemisphere by spring and the grass growing. The other day I was looking at the grass and it was this just incredible emerald green. And that is Venus in Taurus. That is Lakshmi. That is abundance. That is the earth vibrating with its abundance. And that's the frequency we're going into. So know that we're held even when this month, and I'll do a video later on the entire month of May, because we have 5 planets changing signs. So there's change happening. But this Taurus energy is beckoning us to turn within, to connect and ground ourselves to nature. And we'll talk more about that with the Taurus new moon that's coming on the 7th and 8th of May. So look for that video as well. But this is just for this week and noticing the shifts of this week as you begin to integrate what is leaving you. So the 29th, we have Venus moving into Taurus. She'll be here for 25 days, and we get to really enjoy the sensuality of Venus and Taurus. So do what you can to take bubble baths. Enjoy your embodiment. That's what she wants you to do. Take a bubble bath, go swimming in the river, go swimming in a lake, go swimming in the ocean, put your feet on the grass, go get a treatment, and really just be in nature. Just be in nature. So it is time to pamper ourselves, but it's also time to expand our consciousness around abundance. What is true abundance? That's a really great question for Venus and Taurus, because we have seen over the years that there's so much false abundance. There's so much false prosperity. And that really takes away from the word and the name. I like to think of it as a triangle. So prosperity is at the top of the triangle, and then there's abundance and scarcity sitting at the lower legs of the triangle. And that's the polarity. We have either scarcity or we have abundance, and they play, and that could be my yes and my no. No is as important as yes is, because our yes doesn't mean anything if we can't say no. So the fact that we were born from the all into particularity means that we have to choose. We have only so much resources with our time and attention in this dimensional space. And so we choose. We get to curate, really, our lives. And that's a beautiful thing. It's highly responsible. It's like, what do you want in your life? You get to curate it. And so there might be old codes that you're complete with. And that may have been over the full moon in Scorpio, showing you ways that you are really complete with your financial story, with your abundance story, with your materiality story. And true prosperity is the right relationship to both my yes and my no, to my abundance and the scarcity, meaning the places where I am without. And that's not always a bad thing. True prosperity sits at the top because it's outside of that polarity. And it is saying, what is right for me? What is right for me? What's in my lane to do, and what's in my lane to receive? And where am I complete with old codes? Today, the Gene Keys is shining its light on Gene Key 24. And I just did a video on that, and you can check that out, because it's really about letting go of these ancestral patterns, these storylines that go from generation to generation around money. You know, we can say we're not anything like our parents, but then we peel back the onion and we realize, oh my God, I'm setting it up, only a different scenario, just like I was programmed. And so we're choosing out of our old programming. That's part of what's happening as our matrices get blown up. And the divine feminine comes in and says, all right, everyone, it's a new normal. It's a new earth. Uranus and Taurus is new earth, the awakening of a new earth. So we've got the sun in Taurus. The moon will be moving into Taurus next week. We have Venus moving into Taurus, and then we have Mars changing sign. So Mars has been in Pisces this whole time that all these planets were in Aries doing their thing around the solar eclipse. And the North Node is in Aries. And then the conjunction was in Taurus. We had that perfect lineup of Pisces, Aries, and Taurus. And who was holding down Pisces? Neptune was holding down Pisces, as well as Mars. And so Mars does not like it in Pisces. You know, think about Mars rules Aries. And so it loves that bold action. It loves to take action. It's warrior energy. It's like get shit done energy. It's masculine energy, whereas Venus represents the feminine principle. And so what's cool is they're both moving into their signs where they feel super good. And so on the next day after Venus moves into her just yummy sign of Taurus, Mars is going to move into Aries. And so we're not going to be at odds with our own energy. Our energy will be aligned in the masculine and the feminine. The masculine getting things done, but Venus saying, you know what, but don't burn out, because that's not prosperity. It might be an abundance of opportunity and things to do, but it's not prosperous, because prosperity is really living in a holism, holistically, where all the areas of my life have workability, and it's not just money. Money is one thing, and if you lack it, it's huge. But if you overdo it, it takes away your health, it takes away your sanity, it can take away your family and your friends. It can take away your connection with spirit. You know, we've seen those things. So prosperity is really the balance of that masculine and feminine. And this week we have the balance of the masculine and the feminine. Let's enjoy that as we do this work here. And we do want to get things done, and we do want to take action, and we need to do it in a Venusian way. Let's do it in a Venusian way. And Mars moving into Aries is also the 0 point. So remember that when a planet changes signs, it goes 30 degrees, right? It goes through that 29 degree, that's the ending point. And it goes then to 0 degree of the new sign. And what's cool is that feels like an initiation. You know, if you're 0 degree in your birth chart and like you're 0 degree Taurus, you don't know how to do Taurus. You're here to figure out how to do Taurus in that house with that planet, if you have a planet there or celestial body. So this is about new initiative, new drive. We've shed so much, and now we have a new passion coming through, a new idea. I know I got a new idea for the Creators Academy, and I'm holding this Goddess Convergence. I'll share more about it in a separate video, but that came through. It's like new ideas. They're fresh, because we don't want to create from the past. We want to create from the silence, which is Gene Key 24. I mentioned that. I talked about that. I won't repeat myself. But we have now the courage. We have the bravery. We have the energy, actually, in Mars and Aries to do the thing, to do the new thing. And then we have Venus supporting us in doing it. Now, I said there were 3 things. So here's the final thing. We have on May 2nd, we have Pluto stationing retrograde. Okay, so this is Pluto's last pass at Capricorn. It's not going into Capricorn until September. So we have some time. Pluto is like a very large ship. It can't turn right or left very quickly. It has to go all the way around to turn. That's how slow moving this planet is. So you think about it, it takes 246 years to have a Pluto return, which is why no person has a Pluto return, only countries. And the United States is still in the frequency of its Pluto return. So that's why the United States is changing so much. It's a changing of the guard with respect to power, how we have wielded power. That's all shifting. So Pluto is stationing retrograde. It's 2 degrees of Aquarius. So it's going to stay in Aquarius for a while because it's going to take its time as it inches back to Capricorn in September. And that's the last pass that Pluto will give to the old systems and structures. So we're talking about that a lot this year, and I'm going to weave that in throughout because Pluto will be retrograde for a while, and then it goes direct in Aquarius or goes direct, moves out of Capricorn. And when it hits Aquarius again at the 0 degree point, we just said that like January 24th of 2024. When it does that again, that will be like no more dress rehearsal. We got this. We are now fully in the new cycle. So cycle changes in astrology are not one and done. They are movements, and they are slow, and they give us time to integrate. Retrogrades give us time to integrate. So when Pluto is talking about power out there, when it goes retrograde, it's power in here. Where are the ways that we have enslaved ourselves with respect to whatever that, Pluto's in my career house. So how have I enslaved myself? What are my lack of boundaries, or what are in fact my addictive patterns around work or career or beliefs that have to go? They don't have to go, but if I want to be a new earth priestess, they really get to go, because what's coming through, and this is the promise of Uranus, what's coming through and has been coming through, but will continue with even more frequency, is new light codes. So many people are saying that from the eclipse, new light codes are coming. So we're going to feel less dense, lighter. That's where, when the signs move into air, they leave Earth and they go into fire and air. We're gonna feel way more like there's so much lightness in our being, and that's going to allow us to receive the innovations that Uranus wants to bring. But we can't think from an old mind. Can you imagine, your 1950s television, trying to hook that up to stream Netflix? You just can't. The hardware on the inside of that television was not built for streaming. So we can't use the old hardware. That's why there's DNA changes. That's what the Gene Keys is talking about. That's what healers and those spiritual leaders who are tapped in are feeling new frequencies coming through, because we get to be different. You've heard the term homo luminous. We get to be different as we're receiving new frequencies of light for this massive shift in innovation. So I'm going to stop there because there's more to say, but I'll pick them up in the May video. I'll pick it up in the Pluto retrograde video. Maybe I'll do a Venus and Taurus video, because that's the Lakshmi transmission. So let's have some fun this month and keep our stable center. If you're wondering how to do that, tune into the video on Gene Key 24, and that should really support you in this time. Thank you for being here.